there's eight different power sources there, and they're not intermingled. So each one of those power sources will do about 50 watts. About 50 watts. 50 kilowatts. Okay, we can go ahead. Okay, this is something which I have a patent on, which relates to getting a huge amount of energy out when you put a few milliamps of energy in, and you end up with like 100 kilowatts of energy out. And that won't make sense to anyone who thinks like an electrical system. You have to think in terms of the magnetic flux, because if you're using electrical flux, everything is dying a heat death and you lose the energy almost immediately in electrical flux. But in magnetic flux, you can make as many copies of the original as you want without depleting the original at all. So if you're chasing electrical flux, you're chasing the wrong rabbit. You need to be chasing the magnetic resonance flux. Okay. This is an early stage of the eight-cylinder thing you saw just a moment ago, where it was demonstrated as to how simple it was and how well it worked. And this particular thing has been duplicated all over the world in many countries successfully. There have been people here who have tried to duplicate it, have done so successfully, but there are quite a few people who apparently had frustrations with this, and we need to talk about that on a one-to-one basis. Okay? And where everyone can read it properly. Well, this is actually part of the patent
Relates to the dipole antenna system and their electromagnetic radiation when you
it was ever in final form.
Okay, this invention relates to the dipole antenna system and their electromagnetic radiation. When used with a transformer, an appropriate energy collection system becomes a transformer generator. The invention collection converts ambient energy which with conventional devices is radiated and wasted. This is more of the like the Morey flux valve or the Morey valve or the Tesla valve. It's in concert with that similar technology in that what it does is when tuned to the proper frequency, you can pick up a strong ambient resonant energy that's available in your area, and the frequencies vary from place to place. A system that's assembled at your house may not work 10 miles away as well. What you have to do is tune it to match the work in your area. There's a gentleman in New York that has a system that 4 blocks away figured out how to suck down a specific frequency so that we can convert it to usable electromotive force. There were very few, if any, commercial radio stations in some of the areas where he drove that, and it drove just fine, which proves that you need to excite. I'm going to pass through some of the, because I'm explaining it, sometimes you need to excite the ambient magnetic field. You can excite it or disturb it, like water in the pond, and as the ripples pass through, say, a wave generator, you can, if you have a small wave generator there, as it just afloat on the surface of a pond with a magnet in it, floating up and down over a coil, you can generate electricity just from some child jumping into the water, and all you need is a rectifier transformer circuit for each one of those that are in the water. You can disturb the magnetic field in different ways. If you can disturb the magnetic field in such a way that you're using little or no current or reduced wattage to do so, while disturbing the magnetic field, anytime you disturb it, you create a flux or a disturbance in the flux field, and when you disturb the flux field, 10,000 lines of flux over conductor constitutes 1 volt amp or 1 watt. You have usable electromotive force. The dipole turns out to be one of the more efficient methods that Don's invented and worked with. Actually, he's invented applications that use a dipole that some of them he's not even shared with more than 2 or 3 people. Sometimes I've visited him and he's been thinking and explained inventions that haven't even been put to paper yet. But what you'll see here is that the dipole creates a disturbance. With a coil on the bottom, we create a disturbance in the magnetic field, and the plates are inductors that we take through the transformer rectifiers that make it usable. The dipole generator here, you can see the plates. The top plate is an inductor, the bottom plate is an inductor, the middle plate is an insulator, and there's your dipole circuit with your exciter coil. Much like the 8-coil device that he was explaining earlier, the disc in the middle, all it has is just voids with a material like bismuth, neodymium, or there's actually another material that's even works better. They're sprayed on something as simple as a plexiglass disc or a phonograph record. And in one of those, he actually one of the prototypes that he still has that's working. There's still a phonograph record in it. This is an assimilation of the plasma with the tube that all it's doing is disturbing the magnetic resonant field, and you have your inductor coils or inductor plates in this case that also qualify as a capacitor, plate capacitor, to 17, where your terminal block where you go to your transformer rectifier. There's many different applications. The one that is now on your screen, let me see if I can. I'm going to shrink that down a little bit here. We're going to reduce it so you can see it. This one. 21 and 20 there is a series of plates that are assembled. You'll see in a moment that on Don Smith has a website that he has a product gallery that he numbers many of them 1 through 9. And let's see. No, this one isn't on the website, I don't think, Don, but www.altenergy-pro.com, and a little bit we'll put it up. But this one right here is similar to the plasma tube, but there's number 1 is a dipole with north facing up, and I told myself I wasn't going to do this. I was thinking about getting out that funny green laser, but Don has a laser pointer there. Well, here, I'll just use the pointer on the mouse here. Okay, that's the north pole. Down here is the south pole. There's an exciter coil that all we're doing with this coil is using that dipole magnet. We're creating a disturbance. We're not producing a generation of electromotive force by sheer mechanical effort in and magnets passing over induction coils. This is a different approach. It's creating a resonance that's allowing, in this particular case, 20 and 21 constitute a group of 11 plates with 20 insulators plates between them. It's a see, Don, feel free to jump in whenever. Should we keep going?
Yes.
Yeah.